All right, we have a police pursuit going on right now in Willowbrook, Marcona, and Sky 5 overhead. Mark.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. Coming through Watson, Willowbrook, the westbound side of the 105, the California Highway Patrol in pursuit of a solo occupant in this vehicle here. The funny thing was we were setting up for our last traffic hit just a couple of minutes ago. Eliana Moreno, our Sky 5 photographer, noticed off in the distance that the CHP officer was trying to pull someone over. They attempted to go off to the right lane as if he was getting off the freeway, but then there was a failure to yield, and the pursuit was on. So we've had this pursuit for the better part of 5 minutes at this point along the 105 freeway. Again, westbound now. We've just crossed over the 110 freeway here, and we're under a couple of transitions here. That's why it's kind of in and out of the shot. But here we go, westbound side of the 105 freeway, just on the west side of the 110 freeway, and that's what we're looking at this point. He is just coming into an area of some heavy traffic, and so we'll see what he decides to do. It looks like he's in the left lane and is making efforts to get off to the right lanes here. We are basically in West Athens, moving in towards Inglewood. And it looks like he's exiting Vermont. So there you go, westbound side of the 105 freeway, exiting Vermont. Let's see what he does. It looks like he's attempting to slow down here, but so far to this point, a failure to yield, at least from the point of the 710 freeway all the way to the Vermont Avenue exit here in South LA. So it looks like he is going to continue westbound. It looks like he wanted to make a left or a right turn there, but it looks like he's going to continue westbound and re-enter the freeway. It's a little bit dark, so it's hard to know, but it looks like he's going to re-enter the freeway here right at Vermont. Again, getting onto the westbound side of the 105 freeway here. Now, again, only one unit of the CHP is in pursuit of this guy at this point. Still a failure to yield. We know that at least he is wanted for a driving infraction. He was driving on the right shoulder of the freeway, perhaps trying to get by some slower traffic. Maybe he was in a hurry, but there you go. The westbound side of the 105, he has re-entered that point from the Vermont Avenue off-ramp here. We'll be coming up on Crenshaw here shortly, and as we enter the Inglewood area and the Hawthorne area, we'll be coming up towards the 405 in just a matter of about 5 minutes. And normally it would be a lesser drive in terms of time, but because we have traffic heading westbound in towards the LAX, it does seem to be slowing him down just a little bit. He is doing the best he can, at least, to weave in and out of traffic here, moving past slower lanes, or moving past slower traffic at this point. But there you go. You are only going to see this on KTLA. Sky 5 HD is the only helicopter covering this from overhead here. Sky 5, along with that lone unit that is chasing him on the ground here. So we are moving again towards LAX. The westbound side of the 105 freeway will be at Crenshaw here in a matter of another half mile or so. I can see up ahead there appears to be a unit of the CHP or some sort of law enforcement that is pulled off to the right shoulder here, probably waiting to join the pursuit at the point that it passes that person here. So there we go. But again, we are moving at kind of a slow rate of speed at this point because of the slow traffic that is up ahead here. So he's just coming up under an overpass here, the westbound side again of the 105 freeway. Guys, let me turn it over to you for just a moment.
All right, Marcona ahead, rather above in Sky 5. What's interesting about this, you had a motorcycle unit that's able to follow him as he darts in and out of traffic, so he's not going to lose that motorcycle unit, so that's not an issue. But you saw him, he makes aggressive moves periodically. He's like slow, and then all of a sudden he speeds up like he's going to try and get away.
And once again, this started about 10 minutes ago or so in the Willowbrook area. Apparently, officer attempting to pull this car over. Suspect failed to stop, and that's when the pursuit was on, and he's been going ever since. He exited at one point at Vermont, got back on the 105 freeway, and is headed towards in the Hawthorne area now, the Inglewood Hawthorne area, where you can see he's off to the shoulder of the road, trying to avoid the traffic and the slowdown in this area, and starting to pick up some speed.
Yeah. The westbound 105, Mark Kono said he would be approaching the 405. Mark, are you back with us? I see fog is becoming an issue.
It is just a little bit. We're just on the fringes of the fog here, but we've got a situation here. He's going to be getting off the freeway right into an area of several law enforcement here. So they are going to be waiting for this guy to get off the freeway here. Again, westbound 105, the Crenshaw Boulevard off-ramp. And again, we're just on the fringes of the fog. We should be able to hold the shot without losing it here. But there you go. He's off to the right lane there. And is he going to hit? He is just about to hit that car in front, and that car, okay, there you go. And that, okay, Okay, here we go. He's going to try and make an attempt to get off to the right, and he does so. He is back on to Crenshaw Boulevard, now going northbound on Crenshaw. Wow. Okay, so you can kind of see, even at this early morning hour, the desperation that some of these suspects basically display as they try and get away from law enforcement here. So now this guy is going to be northbound on Crenshaw. He is going to be out of the fog here in a matter of another couple of blocks here. It's going to be a little bit difficult for us to continue following this, at least for the next couple of minutes here, because of the fact that we're right into LAX's airspace here. So we're going to follow this using the camera from the 105 freeway as he moves northbound, here. So we'll see what he does. But again, he's going to come into a clearing here just in just a matter of a block or two as he makes his way over towards, well, essentially the Santa Anita Raceway, that area there. So he'll be up in that point in another, say, half a block, or actually about a block and a half. So again, northbound on Crenshaw, being pursued by at least 3 separate units. We believe that there might be some PD units involved as well. We understand that the CHP unit that was initially involved, as he got off the freeway here. So, again, we're moving northbound on Crenshaw, and it looks like he's kind of making efforts to continue the pursuit and get away from this. Let me hand it over to you guys so I can talk to LAX for just a moment here, guys.
All right, Mark Huno in Sky 5. I'm going to ask our producer while we have the opportunity, do we want to break here or do we want to stay with this?
We're going to stay with this as long as we can.
Okay.
Right now, fog is obviously an issue for Mark Huno, so if we get into a space where he can no longer give us this shot, we'll go ahead and break away and bring it to you as soon as we can. But once again, this police pursuit been going on since about 5:40 or so this morning. The suspect failing to stop when a CHP officer attempted to pull him over in the Willowbrook area, and it's been going ever since. Ginger.
Hey guys, yeah, and you know what's interesting too is that CHP actually has a field office very close to this area, so I believe that's the reason they were able to, of course, get some of those units over on Crenshaw Boulevard so quickly, because sometimes we don't see that happening. And of course, you can see that now we're going to be able to reestablish with Mark that perhaps he is going north. Listening to Mark, and he's saying that he's making a right turn. So he was basically moving north on Crenshaw Boulevard, just coming off that 105 freeway. Of course, we saw that he nearly clipped that one vehicle. Our team in Sky 5 HD first on the scene of this one. And now we're trying to get a location for Mark because, of course, he was in LAX's airspace. We see that there's a lot of construction in some parts as well, but he's clearly on some major streets just crossing over Van Ness. So, of course, that's a big street here. So he is moving north on Van Ness. And, of course, he's already passed Crenshaw Boulevard, Florence, possibly, and maybe even approaching some of the other streets as he moves north, possibly into South LA, as of course right at about Slauson Avenue. I think Mark was mentioning too that he was actually closer to the Inglewood racetrack there. So CHP officers continue to pursue this, but if he continues deeper into the streets, then what he'll probably end up doing, Chris and Megan, is they'll maybe have to hand it off to the officers there because it will no longer be CHP's handle. Megan, Chris.
Ginger, thank you for that. We want to go back up to Mark Huno. Okay. This guy getting really dangerous.
Yeah, he's blowing red lights.
Yeah, as we can see. Mark?
TV5, thank you. Okay, they're going to pit him. They're going to pit him. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Here we go, Century Boulevard here eastbound, and it looks like this guy may have been disabled by the actions of the CHP unit behind him. And yeah, they are going to pit this guy, and he's still kind of making efforts to get away. And so they continue to try and pit this guy. I mean, this is a situation where they're kind of getting in each other's way at this point. Now eastbound on Century. Hang on just a moment. Bear with me, guys. We're in a critical area here with LAX, and so talking with the tower is going to be of paramount importance to us. We also have an LAPD ship that's trying to get overhead, so we need to make room for these guys. But again, eastbound on Century Boulevard, it looks like he is not disabled, but he is going to be pitted here right at that intersection, and that's going to be Denker. And now, oh my gosh, okay, they actually spun him around. Let me hand it over to you guys.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take it. As you can see, they're trying the best they can. He's determined to keep on going. Ginger Chan, tell us what area we're in specifically at this point.
You know, he looks like he's approaching the 110 freeway, and as we were saying, he's moving north, possibly a little bit closer to the South LA area. And one thing about a pit maneuver is it's one of those maneuvers that not every CHP LAPD officer can do. It's something that you have to be trained, so they have to call a unit and get somebody who is able to do that. I'm sure a lot of them are able to now, but the pit maneuver is something that is very strategic and of course is very dangerous. They have to wait till they get into a situation in an area where they're able to pit safely. Mark, Mark is saying that he is continuing westbound on Century Boulevard, approaching Western, and now they just spun him, but he may be able to get back on. This guy is persistent. If, Mark, we're able to bring you back in, let's go ahead and reset. Oh, so now we're okay. So, of course, we're talking about how this is a very strategic area here with LAX, LAPD airship up ahead. Maybe the pit maneuver has worked. Mark Kono in Sky 5. Good morning, Mark. All right, so we're still trying to reestablish the shot here. We're dealing with a lot of stuff as we're talking about LAX's airspace. We have a couple other helicopters now on scene, as well as, of course, LAPD that is has one of their airships on scene. But now it looks like one of the officers is trying to get out of the vehicle. Mark.
Hey, Ginger, yeah, here we go. Now they've spun him again, and we are basically along Century Boulevard, just on the west side of Western Avenue here. You saw multiple attempts by the CHP to pit this guy. This last one appears to have been successful here. Sorry about the communication issues here, but we've been in close proximity to some of the jets that are coming inbound into LAX. But there we go, Century Boulevard here, just west of Western. It looks like they are, well, essentially on the verge of taking this guy into custody here. Yeah, TV5's got the inbound into 25 left. I'll maintain visual. Ginger, sorry about that, and there you go. Hopefully they will be able to take this guy. TV5, I've got the heavy inside. I'll stay off his left. TV5, caution the wake, Wilco, thank you. And Ginger, yeah, there he goes. Essentially surrounded by the CHP at this point here, and it looks like hopefully they will be able to surround this guy and eventually take this guy into custody. In the meantime, yeah, right overhead of this guy, we've got a heavy jet coming inbound into LAX right now, and we're just off his left wing, but there you go. There's the activity. This is as close as we're going to be able to get at this point, but again, yeah, Century Boulevard is going to be shut down for at least this one portion here, at least in the westbound direction from Western, nearly over to Van Ness, but again, this is going to be some CHP activity, and hopefully they will be able to take this guy into custody shortly. Ginger, let me send it over to you for just a moment.
And of course, we're listening to you talk with the air traffic controllers at LAX, so there is a lot of activity that is happening here as well. So it's a situation where there wasn't a major crash, probably no injuries, and they'll keep Century Boulevard just a little bit north, or Century Boulevard at Western, those major streets closed for a little bit. You have a lot of options, of course, if you were moving north and south, Arlington Avenue as well. Megan, Chris.
All right, Ginger, excellent work, by the way, by Mark Kono. You can see the multitasking involved with his job. What are you seeing, Chris?
It looks like they may have the person out of the vehicle. It's tough to tell from this angle, but it looked like one officer may have opened the door and then the other officer may have pulled the individual out. If that's the case, they may have the person. Yeah, there
he is. All right, we do have a suspect in custody. Thankfully, a safe ending to this police pursuit, which started about 20 minutes ago.